right, let's start with the storm. Cape Town and its surrounding areas are being lashed. The area has been hit by heavy rain driven by storm winds, and there's a massive swell at sea. Disaster management officials have begun assessing the impact of a passing cold front on low-lying informal settlements in the Cape Metropole. Dwellings in Khayelitsha, Lavender Hill and Hout Bay have been flooded since the storm began late last night. Metro Rail has warned commuters that delays of up to an hour can be expected on several lines due to the bad weather. It had to suspend services in strategic places, leading to a ripple effect across all lines. Some of the infrastructure has been damaged. The National Sea Rescue Institute has urged the public to be cautious as swells of up to 12 metres are prevalent along the Cape coastline. Well, we're now joined by Nomawethu Sildwane in Cape Town. Good afternoon to you, Nomawethu. So you are in the Cape Town city centre. What's happening there?
Thank you. Well, a very good afternoon to you, Francis. Well, I can tell you that we've been up and down the Cape Metropole since this morning. As you know, that strong cold front made landfall late last night. And this morning we woke up to the most devastating weather conditions. Trees have been uprooted, rooftops have blown away. And I must say, in our search for the affected areas, we went to the RR section in Khayelitsha, where people mostly live in shacks. And I must say that one of the residents there said one of the most profound things that I've heard this morning. And he said that the weather conditions are uncomfortable, but at the same time, we appreciate the water because we don't have water in Cape Town at the moment. And of course, that was in relation to the current drought that we see in the Western Cape at this point in time. But Francis, when you talk about bad weather conditions, you cannot leave the homeless out of it. And that's where we're coming to you live at this moment. We're coming to you live from the Haven Night Shelter here in the Cape Town CBD. And to tell us more how the numbers have maybe doubled since last night is the CEO, Mr. Hassan Khan. Mr. Khan, just tell us what you've seen since last night here at the shelter.
Well, we've just experienced the first real cold spell in Cape Town, and it's accompanied with rain. And so our initial surge has begun to take place. From about 5:30 last night, we had more people coming in for help. We are at 97% occupancy last night, which was 1,136 beds filled. And as you can see now, we're opening our dining halls in every Haven shelter to ensure that vulnerable homeless persons have a safe place to go to. We will require them to, of course, sit in chairs and so forth. We're trying not to use too many mattresses from a safety point of view. Our needs at the moment are basically for good quality single bed blankets, perishable foods and clothing. And whatever is extra that the Haven doesn't need in the near term, we will give to others in need, old age homes, shelters, creches, and even families in need where necessary.
Now, Mr. Khan, the bad weather conditions are likely to continue until tomorrow. Do you see a chance of you having to turn people away at this point in time?
No, there's always placement. You know, the Lord's provided for us for like nearly 40 years, so there's always place. But if we believe there's a critical mass that we should not be taking, in terms of numbers, our next position is to just take them to the nearest hospital waiting room, the police station, and we get in there under the notion that the state has a duty of care. But we'll cope. The Lord provides.
And also just what people get at the shelter when they come in, what needs do you see to?
Well, basically we see to the immediate needs first. If a person is bleeding, he should be at the hospital rather than be at a shelter. So we look at immediate needs. And then we extend hospitality to people for up to 10 days as a sponsored stay. On the 11th day, we expect people to complete a personal development plan with our social worker, and then we extend the hospitality to them, full board and lodge as it were, for as long as they commit to and work on getting out of the shelter and reunite with their families, or if that's not possible, to reintegrate into our communities. And from the 11th day, we expect people to pay us 12 rand. If they don't have money, we provide them with a job for up to an hour's worth where they cook, food preparation, cleaning the shelter and so on, and then we'll pay them for every hour work with a Haven passport. That is our Buy a Bed campaign, which you'll find on our website. And we're asking people to contribute financially through the Buy a Bed campaign by SnapScan or Pay Fast, so that we do have the money to be able to pay people in the shelters and pay for IDs and as well as transportation, if they're looking for work or if they need to be reintegrated with their families, we pay for transport and so on.
Now, Mr. Khan, just to wrap it up there quickly, I think we've seen the number of homeless people double, if not triple, in the Western Cape in the last few years. Just what have you seen in the shelter in terms of numbers? We know that Cape winters are very vicious, and probably this is just the start.
Yes, look, we've encountered, City of Cape Town stats says that in the city they encountered 4,000 people living on our pavements. Now, this is alarming. And unless one does, unless we intervene, it will get a lot worse much faster. So fortunately, with the Cape winter being harsh, those who have choices about being able to go to houses and homes and so forth, they take that option. It also allows us to exert extra effort to get people reunited, because that's the job of the Haven. We don't provide accommodation, we provide a service to get home. Right? And then after the winter, what we should be creating, and we're talking to the city about it as well, safe spaces where vulnerable people can be provided with basic safety and security, their basic health needs, basic nutrition like cuppa soup and so forth. And all other people should be excluded from living on our pavements, because that would be regarded as willful behavior. Right? So keep the vulnerable safe. That's what we want to do.
Thank you very much for your time. Well, that was Mr. Hassan Khan, who is the CEO here at the Haven Night Shelter in the Cape Town CBD, telling us more that since last night, he's seen the numbers almost double here at the shelter as people knock on the doors for help, because the weather outside is very, very cold and those winds are very, very strong. Like he said earlier, he doesn't see a chance of them having to turn people back at this point in time. Like I said, we've been up and down the Cape Metropole to see those affected people by these bad weather conditions. With that, it's back to you in the studio, Francis.
Thank you very much. I'm on my way to, and glad that people are taking cover. The dangers are rife. We've been warned, and we'll take you to different parts of the Cape throughout the afternoon. Now, the killer of 16-year-old Francisca Blochlinger has been given 2 life terms in the Cape Town High Court. Howard Oliver was also sentenced to 15 years behind bars on a robbery charge.